Tropical Storm Dorian is slowly intensifying as it approaches Barbados this morning, now with winds of 60 miles per hour and a pressure around 1004 millibars. It's currently at 12.3 north, 57.4 degrees west at 9 AM Eastern Daylight Time on August 26. The CDPS is putting down St. Croix as the area of the largest rainfall in the next 5 days. Stage 2 on the CDPS for that location, and stage 1 or 2 conditions for many of the other islands as well. Significant potential for damage. Here it is right now. It's got a tiny wind field at the moment. It will expand somewhat as the storm continues to intensify, which is what the National Hurricane Center is predicting. They're still calling for a hurricane. 150 miles now from Barbados at a movement of about 15 miles an hour. That's about 10 hours away. 258 miles from St. Lucia, 276 from Martinique, and 284 from Grenada. These are the warnings right now. Tropical storm warning for Barbados, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and a tropical storm watch for Dominica, Martinique, Grenada, Saba and St. Eustatius. Interesting that none of the islands in between those areas have any warnings yet, like Guadeloupe and further north. That might change. Expected rainfall in the next 5 days looks like this. Pink areas denote areas that are getting more than about 3 inches of rain. So 1 or 2 areas under the 3-inch region there. But really, we're not expecting huge amounts of rain from this one compared to other storms in the past. National Hurricane Center expect isolated amounts up to 6 inches. These are the sea surface temperatures. They're around 28, maybe even 29 degrees Celsius in the area. As the storm progresses towards the northwest, those sea surface temperatures will remain fairly warm up until its eventual landfall on one of those greater Antilles we expect. The GFS model, as you can see it here, passing Barbados, St. Lucia. Interesting how it downplays the storm's intensity quite a bit. I can guarantee it probably will be a tropical storm there as it moves through and could become a hurricane as it heads towards Hispaniola, where it will make landfall later on this week. It will then continue towards the northwest if there's anything left of it moving through the Bahamas, and then there could be the possibility of a US landfall. But at the minute, we're not expecting anything hugely strong. 1 or 2 models indicating maybe a tropical storm along the Florida coast. Chance of tropical storm force winds in the next 5 days, which is something we're more certain about. 80% now in Barbados, 76% at St. Lucia, 66% at St. Vincent, 62% at Martinique, and 48% at La Romana in the Dominican Republic. These are what the models are saying right now. You can see here a lot of them actually going pretty low there, but the National Hurricane Center, as you can see, by the 29th calling for a brief hurricane peak. Looking at the wind shear, that is actually expected to remain low there for a day or two before rising a bit. Sea surface temperature is good, relative humidity is getting there slowly. It is still a little bit on the low side. Dry air has been mitigating this storm's intensification phase so far. Here's a look at the satellite imagery from NOAA floaters, and you can see how it's been progressing. Gradual movement towards the west-northwest in those latest frames, convection blowing up again today, and it really has started in those last few frames after it was waning a little bit overnight. You can see just how they fizzled out. I'm not sure what's going on with that imagery actually. It doesn't look correct. There has been a blow up in the last few frames, even though that particular imagery isn't showing it. This is the water vapor imagery too, and you can see how things are here. Again, that blow up towards the latter end of the loop is what is actually happening there, and that will continue. It's got a small core of convection near the center, and that will probably continue as it moves through the islands, so it will be very important to see where exactly it does strike, whether it's a Barbados landfall or a St. Lucia landfall. Could be both. They could get a lot of rainfall if the center moves over land. You can follow Force 13's outlets, the website force13.com. You can also find our YouTube channel. If you're not there already, you may well be. Good chance of that. Subscribe if you haven't. You can also find our Facebook page, search Force 13 all in text, and our Twitter handle, it's @Force13 on there. You can also help the project become even better by becoming a patron. You can see more information about all the benefits involved by visiting patreon.com/Force13. With a special thanks to these people for being our most valued patrons this month: You can also check out our growing merch store so you can show Force 13's colours wherever you go. You can also find a link to our Discord server underneath this video in the description.